Okay, hopefully you watched part 1 of the absolute value video and you have a good idea on what that stuff is. Now we're going to look at some of the problems. So here's the first one. The absolute value of m plus 6 is equal to 14. So that's what my question looks like. I'm trying to solve for m. So I'm going to go ahead and write my two cases. Remember to do this every time. For my two cases, I write everything the exact same except for in the second case, I make this answer negative. So a lot of people want to ask, I thought absolute value cannot be negative. That's true. It cannot be negative. There is no absolute value here. Make sure you remember that. There is no absolute value. Do not write the absolute value bars. I'm not solving for the absolute value. I know what the absolute value is. It's 14, which is positive, so it's fine. I'm trying to determine what could m be to give me an absolute value of 14. The good thing about these is once you write your two cases, you solve them exactly the same. So I'm subtracting 6 from both sides. So I have m is equal to 8 or m is equal to negative 20. Either one of those, if I were to put them back into the original, would give me an absolute value of 14. I'm going to go to number 3 next. So I've already written it twice, so make sure you remember this. I'm doing my two cases, one positive, one negative. Check to see if my absolute value is negative, because if it is, then that's no solution. Remember, no solution if the answer to absolute value is negative, but it's positive, so I'm okay. So now I just solve these the same way. Minus 5, minus 5, minus 5, minus 5. So f is equal to 12, or f is equal to negative 22. So those are my two possibilities. Alright, let's move on. I'm going to go to number 4, and then I'll go back to number 2. Okay, so number 4 looks like this. First thing I want to check, is the answer to the absolute value negative? And the answer to that is yes. That's a negative number. I cannot have a negative absolute value. So, you should know when the answer to absolute value is negative, it's no solution. There is no two cases because I can't do it. It's not possible. Write no solution, and I go to the next one. So here's the last one I'm going to work. I'm trying to solve this expression. It's an expression, has no equal sign. So I need to remember I'm going to completely simplify inside the absolute value bars. Then I'm going to take the absolute value, and then I'll continue working the expression and evaluating it. So I substitute my value for x. Multiplied 4 times 2. And I'm continuing to solve. Now I've completely simplified inside the absolute value bars. Now I'm going to take the absolute value of negative 5, which is 5, and 23 minus 5 is 18. Make sure you follow those steps carefully. So I simplify everything inside the absolute value. Then I take the absolute value of negative 5. Then I continue. Make sure to take the Edmodo quiz and rewatch these videos if need